Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on, guys? It is good to be back. How's everybody doing tonight? I missed each and every one of you guys. Sorry about last week. It was hectic, to say the least. Got to get the go-ahead from producer Kaylee that she can hear me. Cool. What is going on, everybody? How are we doing out there? How's everybody doing? Dank, what's up? Dirt Oval Racer on YouTube. What's going on, man? We are back. Wrenchin Wednesday, I think 15. I just put it in, but I don't know what it was. 15, I think. So cool. Tonight, guys, we're going to go over tires. I think I feel like personally I hit on something at PT's last time I was there, just for like a basic, kind of basic what we were, kind of what you're looking for tire life and things like that. So I think we've got some good stuff going on. So. Heck yeah. Let's see here. Rob, what's going on? Rob's in here. So we're officially an international show now. Rob's recovering from surgery, so everybody wish Rob a get well soon. But Rob is from Canada. He's one of our Canadian followers, so we can officially call ourselves an international show when Rob's here. Dirt Oval Racer says double show tonight. I don't know about that. We will... Who knows where all this goes, though. My mom's in here. Hi, Mom. Josh Collier's in here. What's up, man? Bruce. Dan, what's going on? I was supposed to go over tires last week, Bruce, but we didn't have the show. So everything we were going to talk about last week, we're doing this week. And, because obviously we didn't have a show last week. We had terrible, crazy storms. Anybody in the Midwest basically knows had some crazy storms. And I was so worried that we were going to go in and out and connect and disconnect and all that, and did not want to have to deal with that. And you guys obviously have to deal with logging on, logging off, logging on, logging off. So
Our Wi-Fi went completely out
yeah,
at 8.
Yeah, and like literally, I was actually so glad that it happened, or that I did that. Because right at 8 o'clock, our Wi-Fi went out for the night. So, yeah. Casey Bass, what's going on, man? Let's see, Joe Stackman, Western Washington, too. Heck yeah, coast to coast and international. That's what I'm talking about. Brian and AZ, it's 100. Wow, it's 100 in Arizona right now. I don't know if I'm jealous of that or if I don't want any part of that. I feel like I don't want any part of that, and I'd rather be cold. But as soon as I say that, then when I go outside and I'm cold, I'd be like, I wish it was 400 degrees right now. Yeah. If it could be 65 to 68 degrees at any given time year round, that would be awesome. With minimal rain that never affected a race, that would be awesome. But yeah, so I think we got a lot of people coming in here tonight. A lot of people interested in the tire game, obviously, and yeah. So I think it's going to be really, really good. And like I said, this is kind of what I was doing and what I was looking at, and what I found to have the best life for a track like PT's in Illinois, where you cannot use tire prep at their facility. So I think, I really found there's a lot of guys that go about it a lot of different ways. There's some guys that'll tell you, take them right out of the package. Just take them out of the package, put them on the car and run them. And then there's guys that will tell you, you got to dope the heck out of them. There's guys that'll tell you, excuse me. There's guys that'll tell you all kinds of different stuff. And I don't know that anybody's wrong, and I don't know that anybody's right. It's just like setting your car up. It's completely what works for you guys. So what we're going to go over tonight is not the end all be all. This is the best way to do anything. This is just how I did it and how I've found with my several trips to PTs this year and in the past. I'm just sharing with you what I found to be the best results, and you guys can add it to your repertoire of what you guys like to do. And if you hate it or you don't think it's right, then no skin off my back or no skin off anybody's back by any means. We just want to make sure I'm basically just giving options. So that's kind of where we're at with it, because there's only one right way of doing tires, and that's your way. So just like setting up your car or anything else. So I just wanted to make sure I put out that disclaimer before we get too far. Dylan Cook, Dylan should have came over to my house tonight, and he could have ran this whole show because he's the tire prep king. He's got more tires than I've got brain cells, I think, at this point. There, looking for this guy too. Yeah. So Dylan Cook is a badass for sure. Anthony Danta, there's another badass. Did I miss the part where I cheat up the foams? I am purposely not saying anything about foams because of last time when I said I cut up foams. I'm not I'm not even going to mention foams. We're going to go past foams and assume that all these tires are already mounted and glued, and the only thing we can do is prep them, because foams is an episode in themselves at this point. So Josh says, in your personal preference with tires, yep. Dante's giving me crap. I heard the fast guys are soaking the foams in prep. Wow, that's crazy. Cook says, if I had 2 sets, that statement would be true. Yeah, that's fair. Especially right now, man. I am mentally fried. We've had some changes in our life here recently, Kaylee and I, and man, the days are long. So I feel like I'm mentally fried about 3-4 o'clock every day. I'm over it by then and then ready for bed. So let's see. Chris says, let's talk about foams to cut or not cut. Again, guys, it's gonna have to. If we go into foams, we're really gonna go crazy. So tonight, and everybody can just take note of it now at the beginning of the episode. Tonight we are talking about tires that we are assuming everybody already has them mounted and glued and all that. So that's that. Because again, when we start getting into foams and stuff, we can go down an entire rabbit hole if we're going to go down foam route, we're going to go down wheels, cut, what we're doing differently to wheels and things like that too. And all of that. So that's going to get its own episode. Tonight's tire prep. So let me go back through here. I think I missed a few comments or all the comments. Daniel Yoder said, thanks for all the help with these videos and chatting on Messenger. Scale Labs was a great part of helping with my first purpose-built car and finishing third in a first. Nice, man. That is awesome. Daniel, I appreciate it. So thank you, sir. No, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. You're awesome, and you are the one who got third, not Scale Labs. So congratulations to you. That's awesome. Bo Dunn's in here. What's up? Dylan Cook, tires aren't important anyways. Well, hey, when you're the Custom Works king, I mean, I don't think the tires matter anyway. So, he can just race on. Bless you.
I'm sorry.
When you race as good as you do, I think you could race on wheels and you'd still win most of them. So, all right, well, let's get into it, guys. If anybody has any comments or whatever, I'll try to keep up with the comments. Dylan's going to put 4.5 million comments, so I'll try to keep up with all his, and we'll go through it. But the first thing that I want to talk about is just making notes and keeping track of said bless you, and keeping track of everything. So there's several different ways guys are doing it, and I know we're probably getting off into la la land, if you will, about obvious. A lot of this stuff's obvious, but I'm just we're covering the gamut, right? So if you want to keep them in your packaging, that they come in. What I like to do is I'll write on the back. Typically, I date them, whatever, and whatever I did to the tire. So this was my first set that I tried with PB Blaster. If you remember a few episodes ago, if you listened to the Scale Labs podcast, we had Nathan Dean on, and Nathan Dean basically exclusively runs PB Blaster for his tire prep. So wanted to give that a shot, and I actually haven't even ran these yet. I definitely, obviously, I need to, but I haven't even ran these tires yet. I never got a chance to when I was in the great diff build of PTs the last time I was there. So, but like, so for PTs and you know, somebody that's like a proven winner, like Dylan, I know I give him a hard time, but somebody that is a proven winner like Dylan, it would be cool to have his input in the comment section here tonight. And I just wish it was just about. So Ron, it is going to be just about tires and prep. Oh, you say? Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying you wish RC as a whole is. I thought you meant the episode tonight. I'm sorry, I misread that. But anyway, so like what I found for PTs typically isn't a very abrasive surface. So the nice thing about PTs is, and what I'm touching on tonight specifically, kind of what we're going to go over is when you have tires for a track that doesn't allow you to dope at the track. It's kind of if you're at a track that lets you dope, basically it's more or less, you know, you can dope them every round or whatever you want to do. So it's kind of a null point. But one of the big things that I've found, like especially for PTs, for example, is like I can run the same set of tires all night long, and typically towards the end of the night, I have a lot of fade, or I've had a lot of fade where the tires aren't as good as they were, obviously, in the beginning of the night when they had kind of fresh dope on them from the night before or whatever. So with the prep that I'm talking about tonight, what I had a lot of good luck with is it felt like the tires actually got stronger every time I put the car down throughout the night. So all the way from practice heat races and through, I think I bumped out of at least one main, maybe two mains. So ran the same set of tires on both cars all night, and they ran really, really well. So, and again, this is personal preference type stuff again as well. But when I pull all these guys out, I'll switch over cameras here real quick. So when I pull all these out, what I've been running here lately is I've been running a lot of the Papa Willie stuff. And again, guys, this is totally opinion based. So just because I have it out here doesn't mean that I'm a sole believer in that this is the best one and the rest, it's totally. If I say I like this one, 3 other people's going to say they like this one. If 3 other people say they like this one, then 9 people's going to say this is the best prep they've ever had, then this is the worst prep. So again, do your research and test for what you like best is going to be the biggest thing for sure. It's like, for example, so this is Ryan Rouse prep that actually Uric and Anthony let me basically have /borrow/have. So this prep is really, really good on high bite, but you probably won't reach for this first thing at a track like PT's. So that's just kind of the example of why that's out. And then kind of this will be more of a hot take or a hot topic, but I think a lot of people are going to say that they run Papa Willie's red, and they're going to tell you that this is the best and great. And then there's a lot of people that I've heard that don't like the Papa Willie's blue daiquiri. But in my opinion, I've had more success with the blue daiquiri than I've had anything else on here. And I've tried, and I have the PB Blaster as well. I haven't had a chance to. We'll put it in an honorable mention back here. I just haven't had a chance to run the PB Blaster tires yet, so I'm excited for that. But I would love to hear what you guys use, and put in the comments here what you guys typically like to use for your tire prep. And I think that'll obviously, number one, we're going to help grow some of the hobby here with those comments. because we're going to get some people in their preps some recognition. And number two, people who are on the fence may see some of their, we have 70 people in here, so some of their favorite drivers are in here, I'm sure. And if you guys post what prep you like, then a lot of people can that may not know, they can see that as well. So, hey Brian, what's up, man? Rob says Simple Green. So that's a whole other conversation as well. In your tire buckets, I know there's a lot of people that I race with that. I know there's a lot of people that race with that have their tire washers that they'll put Simple Green in, and there's a lot of people who say, "Oh God, no, you can't have Simple Green. You got to do just water." I have experimented with both, and I will die on the hill that Simple Green. When somebody's going to argue with you typically and says that Simple Green is not good for the tire, what they're going to say is it pulls all the oils out of the tire. My argument is, as in the process of it pulling the oils out, if you have these doped properly, what it's actually doing, in my opinion, is during that pulling the oil out process, it's actually bringing the dope that's soaked into the tire, it's actually bringing it to the surface. Because anybody who washes tires with Simple Green, you'll feel the tire have significant more like stick, and it'll feel way better than just a green tire. Again, that is my opinion, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I have no scientific research to back that up, but I really would like to look more from the scientific lens of pulling back and looking at saying, okay, when it's pulling the oils out, well, it's not just pulling every drop of oil out of that tire right now. It's not doing that. So when that happens, I think you're actually using the Simple Green to pull out some of that dope and the oil and everything, and you're putting a fresh surface on the tire. Just my opinion. Let's see. We've got a bunch of comments here, guys, so I'll read through them. Josh Collier says he rotates between Woodcutter, Money Shot, C&M Tire Prep, and Sticky Kicks. So I have used the Sticky Kick stuff before too. I know Sticky Kicks is a little bit more prevalent typically in off-road stuff, but I know Sticky Kicks makes a good product as well. A lot of people like it. Lucas Yoder says he uses red. Last weekend was the first time that he noticed a difference in prep the whole night. He was running Papa Willie's red, and for the main he tried yellow, and his car felt like it was on an ice rink. So with yellow, you felt like the car was on an ice rink. So I wonder there, typically when you dope a tire, you want to keep the same dope on that tire throughout the life of the tire. So I wonder if you're trying to mix chemicals at that point, and it's just like the tire's not wanting to accept, it's not wanting to accept itself or accept more different dope through there. That would be a really interesting thing to test as well and look through. I don't know I'm sure there's a lot of people who have that experience as well already. Let's see. Casey says aerosol. Aerosol is amazing if you can get your hands on it. Add some automatic transmission fluid to help put oil back into the rubber. That's not aerosol. Arcosol? Arcosol? I'd be lying if I said I knew what Arcosol is. Do you know what Arcosol is? Okay. Can you do? Are you doing a research?
I can. Who made that comment? I'm sorry.
Casey Bass. Arcosol. We'll have to look that up, Casey. I'm not familiar. Let's see. Dank Paint says he uses the Lacombe Racing 99 Tire Prep and Cleaner, and then their line of non-toxic sauces. Okay, I like that. He loves Diablo.
It's a fast-acting solvent used in automotive body shops to remove wax, grease, adhesive residue.
Oh, okay. Got it. Cool. So it's like so it's basically like almost like paint thinner, Casey, then is what? Okay, yeah, okay. I've seen that before. Green can. Got it.
That's funny.
Let's see. Brian Price says bananas or Papa Willie's bananas. Okay. Dylan Cook, I have a special tire wash that he mixes in his water After cleaning, it makes them tacky, like you're saying, without drying them out. Yep, like Summergreen can. Summergreen can dry out your tires if you use too much. Yes, I agree with that, Dylan. We'll have to plug Dylan. Dylan and Bobby actually have, I know they have some of their own tire preps and tire cleaners and things like that go in your bucket. So Dylan Cook is in here, and if any of you guys have or would want to try some of his stuff, I'm sure he would be more than happy to, kind of, Dylan, feel free to plug your tire sauce and everything in here. I would love for you to be able to get some sales, because I know your stuff's really good. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. You'd think some of your buddies would get a chance, but whatever. Just kidding. Danta says, excuse me, Danta says he's still learning as well, but in his opinion, Papa Willie's feels good for a run, and then the tire fades. Papa Blue seems to not have as much bite or speed first run, but he feels like the tire feels better longer on more runs. Yes, Anthony. So Anthony and I are 100% on the same page. And when we get deeper and deeper into this, guys, tonight, when I start showing you what I'm doing with these tires, so basically what I'm going to talk about, and this will come up again, but since we just read Anthony's comment to his point, what I have found for these tires is what I do. They're completely fresh tire, glue them up, don't touch them. I will soak the tire in dope, let it completely soak until dry. Once it's dry, go back a step. I'm skipping steps. So if any of you have ever heard of anybody grinding tires or cutting tires down and don't know what they're talking about, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a putty knife like this. I literally went to Home Depot or Lowe's, got a putty knife, and then tire glued on this sandpaper onto here, and you can chuck up Quasi Speed. I know Custom Works or True Speed makes them as well. I have a Quasi tire arbor adapter, so this chucks up right in your drill, and then it has a wheel hex and everything in it. If you guys don't have this, it's pretty spiffy. So this is what it looks like. A bunch of threads, but so this is literally basically like a front axle with a hex adapter on it, and then you can screw it right in, and then now you have a adapter for your drill that will allow you to spin this tire. That'll come in handy here in a little bit. So anyway, I will, first thing, once the tire's glued, all the glue and everything is good to go, and all that, I will take my drill with that arbor, and I will actually come in and I will just very lightly sand the tire down. So I'll sand the tire down, and then I actually take a roll of duct tape. I believe I have it in here. That's the one thing I didn't pull out, and I don't know where I put it. Well, guys, I'm pretty sure we're all pretty fluent on the how to interact with duct tape. So you'll take the duct tape off, break a piece off, and flip it inside out to where the sticky's on the outside, and then you can go in and roll off of the tire and roll all of the fluff off of the tire. So you go in, and then I would really like to show that, because it is, it's simple. It's stupid simple, but it's one of those things. Do you know where we have some? I don't know why it's not in here. I'm looking like a goofball at the moment. It's got to be in here, I would think, right? Somewhere. One second, guys. Technical difficulties. Wouldn't be a Scale Lab stream if it wasn't. Oops. Again, I know we're all pretty familiar with the uses of duct tape. I bet it's in there. Yeah. Nope. Amateur. There it is. All right. Just needed Kaylee involved, and then we can make it happen. So, because this is something that I hadn't seen actually until I know Anthony and Danta and them are in here, but this is something that I hadn't seen until I was watching them one day. So you can take a roll of duct tape or a piece of duct tape, flip it inside out to where your sticky's here, and when you go to do the tire, you can even see it here. It will ball up. That rubber will ball up. What I like to do is I just put it in my hand like so, putting tension on it. And you can literally go around the tire and it will pull all of the fluff off of your tire. And then you'll have a perfectly nice ground tire. And then you can kind of rotate this around as you go to have a nice clean surface. So you do that, then you have a nice clean prep surface. Then what I do is I've been using the blue daiquiri, and where all this got off topic is blue versus red. But what happened is I took blue daiquiri, soaked it, let it dry. After it dried, I soaked it again, and then we're going to go over a little bit later. Once it was just about soaked in completely, I burned the tire in, or I burned that prep in. And I will show what that is later again. But I burned that prep in, and that really felt like it locked the prep in, got it deep into the tire. And that was kind of the secret sauce, if you will, that I found that let it soak, re-soak it, and then burn it in. And the burning it in really felt great to me. But anyway, where this all went was red versus blue daiquiri. I got the blue daiquiri to actually soak in. The red never fully took into the tire, in my opinion. I could never get the prep all of the way into the tire to where it was 100% soaked like the blue daiquiri was. That's why I went the way of the blue daiquiri. So let me read some more. I have 33 comments that I haven't read. So let me go through these real quick so everybody can see them. Let's see. Currently, Track Tack is also their tire wash. Okay. Tori says, piss on them tire sauce. Octopiss. Wow, that's an interesting name. Is great for high bite tracks. Awesome. Collier says he ran Sticky Kicks red and gold. I've ran the gold stuff on off-road, and it was good. Danta says also, what's your opinions on people mixing things with tire wash at a no prep track? So Danta, my opinion on that is you'll never be able to police it, I don't think, or that's a near impossibility to police.
Sorry about that.
Is a near impossibility to police, and I don't know that I agree with it. I know, like, my buddies like Dylan and them have those washes. So I think personally, like, if I'm allowed to run Simple Green, then I think Dylan should be able to have his wash, if that makes any sense, because I can put anything in my tire bucket. So personally, in my mind, the way around all of it is, and I know, like, when you go to tracks that even you're allowed to prep, they say, well, I better not see any tire marks on the track. I mean, hell, I've watched guys at PTs, it's a no prep track, I've watched them pull out onto the track and leave tire marks. That was the last time I was there, I seen that. But it's a slippery slope, and that's a good question, Anthony, and I don't know how you properly would go about it. Because in my mind, but again, if you start doping inside, then everybody has a headache, and then that sucks. It's a lose all the way around. You have to wash tires. You cannot. There's no way you can police, especially like PTs that has 100-something people or 200-something people every week that they're racing. Next to impossible to be able to police what's in everybody's tire bucket. And you can't ever trust that nobody's not doing something funny, because I think we all know that people are I've heard the stories of people going out into their trucks and cars and, come back in magically with a set of tires that they forgot to bring in and all that. So it's very, very hard, very, very difficult. I wish people didn't suck sometimes, but I think the statistical average or the law of averages will tell you that you get enough people, you're going to have some people that suck. So, and doesn't want to play fair. So it is what it is. The tire wash bucket, though, the tire wash is super interesting. If you're going to allow simple green, I think you have to allow everything, in my opinion. And if you don't allow everything and you say water only in your tire washer, then I think the next natural question is how do you police it? And that is the only way I could see policing it is if you had a tire washing bench and somebody basically, a tech guy basically sat there all night long and basically you check in your tire bucket and it sits there, and when you need to wash tires, you go over to that bucket or you go over to your bucket, wash the tires. That's really about the only way you can police it properly, I guess. That makes total sense to me. So that's a toughie. That takes up a lot of space. That takes up probably pit room that people could have had to have, that you could have had to have pits. But to me, that's about the best way you could police that. Have somebody that's saying, okay, we're watching all the tire buckets, but they have to be in one place. You can't have your tire bucket in your pit area, and then that becomes a pain in the butt too. So good question. 100 different ways to go about that. 100 different ways to say yay or nay, but that's a toughie. So great question though, Dan. Thank you. Anyone use liquid wrench yellow? I've heard liquid wrench. I've heard people like liquid wrench. What is that? Jorgnot Outdoors. Jorgnot's out. Sorry, the YouTube names are difficult sometimes, guys. Josh Collier says I need to try some of that tire prep. I should have that Saturday. Danta says haven't tried Cooks yet. He wouldn't sell it to me. He wouldn't sell it to me either, Danta. I don't know what the deal is. That guy, man. Let's see. Robert Fulmer, Jimmy Adams. Casey said, yeah, okay. So yeah, aerosol's Arcosol is like a paint thinner. Yep. Cook says, coming from the cart side of things, the mixing prep statement is very true. Some preps will mix, but some, yep. Okay. So I know I just went on a rambling about having all that, having tire washing buckets and all that and how tracks can handle that. So back that up a little bit. Dylan Cook is saying we talked about there was somebody in here that just had they tried Papa Willie's, I think red, and then they tried to do yellow there at the end, and it didn't work. Typically, mixing preps don't work. Again, typically some do work good together. The most of the time, I think you're going to find whatever you dope with that for the life of the tire, in my opinion. Arcosol is a rubber conditioner used in karting as a cleaner tire. Yep. Schroeder, Andrew's in here. Schroeder says some sauces need longer dry time before it works. The AKA tires, I need to burn the sauce in practically every run. Otherwise, I'm on ice. So that's prep and tires too, right, Andrew? Because everybody's going to have, each manufacturer is going to have a different kind of rubber, and it's going to come from different places and all kinds of different stuff. So I get that totally. Cook says, Danta, he'll get you some. Shoot him a message. Tyler Keel says he uses Blippy Baby Wash mixed with Simple Green and some Hawk Tuba. Jesus. Oh boy. Tyler Keel's in here, everybody. Let's see. Rob says a buddy just started with the Cow RC tire wash. I've heard good things about that as well. Danta says, bring me some to PTs this weekend. If you got some, we can do a deal in the parking lot so we don't get in trouble. Schroeder's posting eBay links to his, that's probably feet pictures. Brian, what grit am I using? Good question, Brian. So that's not that. That is, I believe it's 80. Brian. Those sheets are actually out in the shop because when I used to do these, producer Kaylee can maybe search up real quick what purple sandpaper is from Lowe's, and she can tell me what. I think it's 80 though. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure it's close to 80. Might be 40 sounds right too though for some reason.
You got
A bundle, but yeah.
And it was the Gator brand.
This was not Gator brand. This was something else, I think. Maybe it was Gator because I have Gator brand here. These are for differings. Sorry guys, I would fall apart if I didn't have Kaylee. She's my main squeeze. I believe it's 3M. I believe it's 3M. Yeah, she's my only squeeze, not my main squeeze. 80 or 40?
It's saying 80, 120, or 220.
I think that's the pack I probably got.
Okay. Well,
is that purple?
They're all purple.
Oh, nice. So I believe it's 80. Brian, I believe it's 80. So Linlag's in here. So Linlag does, I believe that is your sauce, isn't it? Mr. Linlag, I'm pretty sure. Trophy Hog Linlag, yeah, he Piss on him is his products, I believe. Let's see, Casey Bass. My first step after gluing is to scuff the tires. Next is to soak the tires in prep, then burn that coat while it's still wet until you see smoke, then immediately add another coat of prep and then let it set until completely dry. So Casey, we're doing the exact same thing, just the preps are backwards. The preps are backwards. I do, and I'm just, again, not that you're doing it wrong by any means, I'm just telling you what I do. I go in, glue them, scuff them, soak them, let it dry completely, soak them again. When it's just about dry, I burn that in. But we're doing the same thing, just with roles reversed. Ron Roy says 80 grit is his guess. I believe so. Cook wants to know if Danta's coming Friday night. Casey Bass, heat is the key to get a tire to absorb prep. Yep, absolutely. That's why we burn them in. Danta says he'll be there Friday. Rob says IT support found it. IT and mental support. Oh, dollar store lint roller works great too. Yep. Casey Bass says for slick tires. Jackson Rexing, Dylan Cook, Anthony Dance. Sounds like you guys are organizing a drug deal. Yeah, out in the parking lot. Man, the last time I did a deal out in the parking lot at PT's, I got ridiculed the next day. Brian, don't forget to grind the tire. The direction of the tire will go on the car. That is a whole nother can of worms, Brian. But Brian, I can't say that you're wrong, and I definitely can't say that you're right. What Brian's saying, everybody, is so. Like for example, let me switch back over to this camera view. So, for example, what Brian's saying is, so when I build a new tire, I glue everything up. I put holes in my sidewalls, and the way I've been taught is these holes go towards the inside of the racetrack. So I know this would be a left rear. So that tire is a left rear. And then this one has the tires on the end, or the holes on the inside of the tire. So I know that is a right rear. And I also will go in and label so you can see my L there, just for my stupid factor of trying to make sure I can't get it wrong. And there's my R there. I put those back in here so that when you're washing the tire, I found that these last a lot longer. And also when I start I serialize a lot of my tires as well, so I can keep track of what I've done with them. That is another thing that you can do as well. But I put it on the inside wall, and it won't rub off nearly as quickly as it will if you put it down in here. So that's why I do that. Let's see. Joe Stackman says +1 for Track Tack Blue Wash. Okay, love it. Dylan Cook. Dylan's keeping the stream alive with his comments. I appreciate you, dude. He says, you guys got me mixing bottles now. Yeah. Let's see. Dirt Old Racer. Ryan Ralph has his tire stuff. Yes. So this is Ryan Ralph's prep, and this prep specifically is for the higher bite stuff. And I don't know. Typically, Ryan's in here. I don't know if Ryan's in here tonight. but I did know that he was working on something more loose dirt that was kind of like specifically formulated kind of for like a PT's track. So I don't think that's out yet. I haven't heard that it's out yet, at least. Maybe it is. But reach out to him on his On the Box channel and On the Box with Ryan Ralph, or reach out to him I'm sure on his personal page, and he can get you hooked up. On High Bite, I don't know that there's much stuff better than his stuff because, a squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, but I started using that stuff and made the A main and late model. So pretty good. Danta says, I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to have it. Just let us prep and be done with it. So the problem with that, Anthony, I think where they're coming from, at least from my limited conversations on the topic with Tom and anybody else who doesn't allow prep inside their buildings, especially in the wintertime. And again, this isn't talking bad about anybody at all. It's just my experience. Like I went to Comiskey one time here in Indiana, and that Comiskey is an indoor track that lets you prep indoors. I had the worst headache I've had in a long time there. That sucks. That sucked aggressively. And so I think that, almost that's the biggest thing, let alone like what it's doing to the tire prep or what it's doing to the track. I remember listening to one of Tony Rogers' podcast, one of his early on, or his streams early on Sunday. And I remember him talking about, so Tony Rogers owns Kempton, and he was saying that they had to, like when it rains, because I know he lets tire prep there being an outdoor track. He said when it rains, you can physically watch the rain wash away the tire prep and the different colors and whatnot out of that track. And over the course of, several different rains, he said you can really see it wash out of the track. So, tire preps also, I think it's really packing people's tracks in, and then it makes it super duper abrasive. And prep's good a little bit, but the idea of tire prep all the way around, in my opinion, a lot of the tire prep stuff, there are some really, really good tire preps that work really, really well. I also think there's a lot of tire preps that guys are really, really good snake oil salesmen. And I think you would have ran really good that race. Whatever tire prep you had on, you had more confidence in your tires. You get more confidence out of whatever bottle you're pulling out of your bag. And that's kind of where I'm coming at from snake oil salesman side of things. Again, there are certain preps that work better in certain areas, but at the end of the day, it's whatever gives you the most amount of confidence. It's just like a setup on the car. Again, my opinion, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, just my opinion. I don't personally agree that we should ever be doping, at least inside, though. To finish off Anthony's statement, that sucks. That headache was miserable. And like at a place like PT's, there are too many damn people inside of PT's for every single person to have a bottle of dope in their hand. I think it would end relatively badly. So, I mean, it wouldn't end badly, but it would really suck. I mean, that's all I've got. Is it better to pre-prep tires in the week you're racing? So Ron Roy asked that question. In my opinion, all of this is my opinion, but I think you should dope these and get these tires ready to go the night before you go race. That is when I had the most success with doing all these, and that is, in my opinion, that is going to be the best time to do it, is the night before. Again, my opinion. I'm sure there's guys that prep all week long. I'm sure there's guys that have all kinds of different preps that they do and different ways going about it. I have found, though, the night before is the best time to do at least the application of the dope and all that. Now, gluing the tires and all that, you can do that in the front end of the week. But I think when you're going to apply your prep and get it all ready to go, you should do that the night before you go to the racetrack, in my opinion. Brian says, or Track Supply's in-house tire washer. That's fair too, Brian. That's not a bad thing. That would just, as long as somebody's there kind of dumping water out, dumping water back in. The problem with that, Brian, is like everybody knows that they prep those tires before the race. So what you're going to do in that perspective, though, is you're going to get everybody's tire dope that's still in the tires, and you're going to mix all that all together, and you're going to get guys that are on a complete ice skating rink, and that's not going to end up well. So I don't know if that in-house tire washer would work out very good, Brian. I don't think that's the way to go. I think the way to go is everybody brings their own tire washer. There's a table. Everybody has to put their tire washer on the table, and people are making sure that that table isn't changed or altered or messed with in any way. Then, at minimum, you're getting your tires that are prepped. You know, you're keeping your own prep and your own bin and all that, and you can kind of go from there. I know personally, like when I pitted upstairs at PT's, my tire washer kind of became the communal tire washer, and the week that I had all of the, like when my tires were really, really good, just to speak on this a little bit more, the week that my tires were really, really good and I didn't have any issues I was the only one in my tire washer. So food for thought there too. I was the only one washing out of my tire bin the week that I had the best tires that I've ever had at PT's. And any week before that, when I felt like the tires fell off, my tire bin was a communal tire bin for multiple people, multiple people, which is fine. I love being the guy that's able to bring a tire washer that everybody loves and everybody uses. I love that. I'm not complaining about that, but that's a real thing that I just hit on like right now is when you, so maybe be cognizant of that, guys. Make sure that you're, that is something to think about when the mindset of we're talking about,
What's everyone using?
What's everybody using and all that. Yeah. And then talking about mixing preps and stuff, you're definitely doing that when guys have stuff heavily prepped and going back and forth. So might be something to look into. Don't be a jerk at the racetrack, but you might want to lock down your tire washer a little bit just to keep some consistency. And there may be absolutely nothing to that, but I absolutely can speak on the fact that the best I ever had my tires at PT's in particular was when I was the only one in my tire washer. So think about that.
You see Schroeder's comment?
I'm 60 comments behind, so I need to catch up.
He said that communal bath was great.
Communal bath, yeah, that's no kidding. Let's see here. Bud Denning, Track Tack, tire wash is the ticket. So Bud says everybody should try Track Tack. I like that. Schroeder says SXT, 2 paddle widths, set up with sandpaper. That was the eBay feet pictures. Okay, cool. Justin Draymire, what's up? Justin wants me to start over. He was late. Justin, these are posted on YouTube. You'll have to go back. Can't do that. I would love to do that, but Hartzell was in here. Hartzell's in here too. He said he was late. What's up, Drake? Good to see you, dude. Tony Mitchell. How about tire warmers? That's a whole nother conversation too. Tire warmers, I know we can't use them at PTs. The only time I think you should be able to use tire warmers is when you're doing like a one-off event like we did at like the Rumble at Four Rocks, for example. And I believe that because it's just so dang cold in there. But like when you go to PTs, for example, one thing that I saw is really, really interesting is like one of the fastest guys, and it's not going to take rocket scientry to know who I'm talking about, but one of the fastest guys there, him and his dad, if you watch them, well, he's standing in line to go race. His dad will be there standing, holding the car. And if you watch him real close, he's got the car on his chest and he's holding the tires like this. So there's something to being able to keep those puppies warm. And there's always, you got guys that will always kind of to scowl when you go out and you're getting the tires ready to go and you get everything kind of warm, and then you're waiting on somebody to get to get in line or get up to the driver's stand or whatever, and then we're all standing on the driver's stand and the cars are sitting there and my tires are getting cold. So there's something to that, and there's something to getting heat built up in the tire so that they fire as well, so that you can kind of activate that prep. So tire warmers, in my opinion, need to be for cold races only, or for cold indoor races. But again, where do you draw the line? And that's tough. So I think the best way to go about that is just no tire warmers, and it makes it easy. Lake and Young says, "What's up? What's up, man?" Dan Tyler says post race and storage. So first thing post race, before you even leave the track, I suggest taking the tires off and wash them. And then what I do is I have all the Protect bags. So I use these tubes, and then I will actually write down what I did on the tubes so I can keep track of all that. The only problem with the tubes is what you'll find is it just takes up a lot of room is the big issue there. You can get a lot more tires they're in bags. And if you don't want to spend the money on these, I totally get that. And it feels like silly money to spend. I'll be the first one to say that. These Ziploc bags where you can make them airtight, that's fine too. You're just wanting to keep the elements and you're kind of wanting to air tighten them up to keep everything soaked into the tire. So I don't think there's any way, but the first thing I do is put them back in their tubes, wash them and put them back in their tubes before I leave the racetrack, typically. So that's the answer to that, Dan. I got his Ryan's prep, but it has no labels. He was supposed to send me labels. That's fair. So you must got some of the Dirt Oval Racer or one Dirt Oval Racer on YouTube. You must have got one of the first ones, and obviously if there wasn't even labels. Josh Collier says Slideways is a no prep. Yep, Slideways doesn't do dope either. And Slideways, you're even more on top of people than you are at PTs. So I know that, I believe, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, that's from Slideways, but I believe they used to let you dope in there. And it was like a miserable experience at one time. I'm pretty sure I remember that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you used to be able to dope it at Slideways, and it was a very bad time. Danta says he gets both. Anthony Danta says I get both sides of it. Just being selfish makes my life easier to prep. No, I get that. And I think everybody, as far as performance on the track, I think everybody wants to be able to prep anytime, or be able to prep at the track. I think everybody wants that, and I don't disagree with that by any means. But it's more of just when you start getting all of those chemicals and everything mixed together, it's a pain in the butt. What a headache. Collier says, I've prepped mine 3 days out of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it was good to go. That's fair. I do think, guys, though, one thing to remember here with all this is there is such a thing as doping too much. You can really saturate these tires where it gets down into the foams and stuff, and then you have soggy foams, and it's a bad experience all the way around. So keep in mind, and you got to find that limit. I'm not the one to be able to tell you that there is what your limit is. Because it depends on your tires and what prep and all that, but there is a limit to where you've gone too far and you're putting too much prep on the tire. I fully agree, or I fully think that that's the case. Casey Bass says, same. I try to do my tire doping the night before. After the race, he will wash with Simple Green and water and then seal them in an airtight storage. Yep. Until the night before. Yep. Absolutely. I used that back when he raced go-karts. Yep. Stephen Gillespie, interesting. Everyone and their mother uses his tire washer. Yep. So again, my opinion, but I think there's really something to that. And because you don't know what other tire prep and everybody's on. And so we really can't say that, you really shouldn't be mixing tire prep and then have in Schroeder's terms, a communal bath for everybody. You can kind of go one way or go the other. So Rob says it's time to lock the tire washer down. Bud Denning, yeah. So I would, when I'm talking about, that's Jake and Jared, you'll watch Jake when Jared's in line, and Jake will actually warm the tires up, which is genius. I think that's I agree with that 100%. I think I started doing it. I'll be the first one to admit I've seen him doing that, and I'll stand there and do this to my car now when I'm next up. I can't say that I felt a gargantuan difference, but it certainly isn't the silliest thing you can do. keeping heat in the tires. So Schroeder says he uses a heated lunchbox to burn in sauce. Have to flip them after some time and make the whole tire get warm. Yeah. Interesting. And then he puts his bologna sandwich in there and eats it. That's why Schroeder's crazy. My wallet. My wallet's in my truck, I think. Or why?
Your ID's expired on the picture I have.
Oh, sweet. My ID's expired. Kaylee just informed me. Mr. Pasley's in here. What's up, Mike? Pasley says I'm right. So I'm assuming you're saying at Slideways, and yeah, it was terrible. I remember that. Yeah, Slideways. Dremeyer says Slideways used to prep too, and it was brutal. I remember going down there a couple times when it was preppable, and that sucked. I remember that. I think that was the first place I got a headache. I mean, hell, honestly, I'm sitting here right now with a small headache just with all these. So, let's see. Bud Denning says, if anyone ever ran pan cars before the odorless compound days, just say Paragon. I've heard of everybody talking about Paragon, and that's nasty shit there. It's far worse than a prep up. Yep. Thedens is in here. What's up, Ryan? He says rebars and talent in a bottle. Heck yeah. Dylan Cook, Casey Bass, Track Tack, Blue Wash is a must-have for the kart track. Nice. And then Bud says some tire prep is out currently. Will swell some tires. Yep. So do you know which ones those are? Bud, I hate to put anybody on blast, but that would be good information as well. And Danta says, if anybody just ran foam, this wouldn't be a big issue. So Danta's got to get at least one. You should be running foam dig in. So everybody go buy a foam car and let's make foam tire racing great again. I think next winter I'm going to have a couple foam cars because I think that'd be awesome. James Herzog, Paragon smells so good though. For us old guys, brings sorts of memories back. It probably makes little Tweety birds float around your head too, because I've heard that Paragon stuff is some nasty stuff. But yeah, so guys, what we can do, I planned on going through kind of what I do, and then something else we can talk about that is kind of an anomaly. Some people say you got to have it. Some people say they don't ever use it. Is this is a foam buster? So I still have freaking sand in this from when I went to the Great Sand Race, but there are times I honestly can't say that I can tell a giant difference as well. The main thing that I use, so I have this is from Go Fast, and I'm not sure who makes it, so I'm sorry to whoever makes it, but I bought it from Go Fast. So what I will do with this guy is typically I actually use this before I glue the tire a lot of times, and I'll actually use it to seat everything onto the wheel a little bit better is what I actually use it for. But I will say as well, and I don't have a set of brand new tires, which we can have a video about mounting them and stuff as well with foams. But one of the things, so when we were at PT's garage, Jake Howard and Tom Tennis they did the tire mounting section when I was there recording. And one of the really cool things that I seen Jake do that I thought was just wow, why doesn't everybody do that? Is he actually, when he went to put the tire on, he actually flipped the tire inside out, put the foam on the wheel, centered it all up, and then took the tire inside out and placed the tire on the foam and then basically wrapped the tire around the wheel. And ever since I started doing that, I watched him do that at the PT's garage. Ever since I saw him do that, my tires have ran so much truer. So maybe next Wednesday we'll do a tire mounting. I'll get a few sets of tires and we'll do a tire mounting night as well. But there was just some little stuff that he did that was just really, really interesting. So shout out to him because it was really good. But it was super interesting on how he went about his business with that, and it was really cool. Yeah, it's a BRP. I'm sorry. So yeah, I got that from Go Fast, but it's a Blanton Racing Products foam buster is exactly what that is. So, Bud Denning says grip doctor, green and yellow FDJ, too much liquid wrench too. Yep, and Bud saying that makes it swell. Ryan says a lot of prep is blends of stuff that you can buy at Menards. Says don't put on plastic or rubber. Yeah, there's if you guys go back and listen to, and I'm not, this isn't a shameless plug or anything, it's just it happened. If you guys go back and listen to episode number 1 of the podcast, the Scale Labs podcast, Ryan Ralph talks about some of the stuff he's tried, from diesel fuel to all kinds of weird stuff to make his preps. So there's, to Ryan's point, there's some goofy stuff in there. Tire prep this week. Next week we're sniffing glue. Yeah. If we get enough tire prep in our system, we'll definitely be sniffing glue. That's for sure. But so anyway, that tire arbor, guys, is right here. So you can see that tire spins pretty doggone true. So, and that again, all credit goes to Jake Howard. When I watched him put that tire on, my tires run so much truer now after doing that. So, but yeah, good stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at, guys. We've been on over an hour already, but that is what I wanted to talk about. Like I said, when I go through and I'm prepping a tire, I will completely saturate the tire. I've really been liking, and everything that I've talked about tonight was with blue daiquiri. I will completely, so first things first, before you even do any of that, you'll chuck the tire up, and I do this outside because it does get messy, just FYI. But you go through and you just touch on the edges all the way around. You'll get a nice little fluff all the way around the wheel, or all the way around the tire rather. Take your duct tape, and then you can go all the way around the tire, and it'll pull all of the loose fluff off of there. And then you'll have a tire that looks just like this. And then once you do that, I will take your prep of choice. In my opinion, you completely soak them. Let that dry completely, where you can feel it not feel wet. You can do this on multiple sets of tires. Typically, I do like 2 or 3 sets at a time. Then that way, by the time you get to the end of set number 3, the first tire of set number 1's dry, and you can kind of, expedite the process. Then soak it again. Let it go in there and soak a little bit, but it'll still be wet on the outside. And then you can chuck it up and put it on a rag. Like I use this black, like kind of a microfiber, and then you can spin that wheel. You can spin the wheel until it starts smoking, and then that's what quote unquote smoking a tire in is. So, like for example, so I'll go here, and this will be tricky on camera, but so I'll hold the rag taut, and then. And you literally you'll start seeing this one. This one will smoke. And then once you see it smoke like that, as you can see, you got some pretty good heat in the tire. And then it'll smoke. So that's what smoking in a tire is. So everybody just seen that on here. I can do it again one more time just so everybody can see it. On a rag, hold that rag nice and taut. I try to jump around because you'll make a spot in your rag, so don't pick your favorite or your wife's favorite dish towel or anything. Have a good set of rags for this. And then you don't want it to bounce either. It's this hard to do on the camera and trying to keep the camera up next to me here, but and then there you go. So maybe not inside's the best place to do it, but anyway, that's smoking in a tire. So wanted to make sure I show that. These arbors from Quasi Speed, I know True Speed makes them. I think ProTech makes them. There's a bunch of different places you can get them from. They work really, really nice. And yeah. And then a really, really Nice edge, nice tire. And I've also found, in my opinion too, when you smoke them in like that, it does firm up the tire. I found against a normal non-smoked in tire, it does feel like it firms that up quite a bit as well. So just again, kind of how I do it. And then sometimes you can, I once all the prep and everything's dry and you've you've went in and smoked everything in, you can sometimes you can grab your tape again, and the tape will have, like, this is from a tire that was already done, obviously, but there will be a little bit of black. A lot of that's the microfiber off the towel, but you know. And then now people have come out even with machines that you can sit there and roll them in, and you can put prep on both the tires, and the tires will sit on a machine and roll themselves in, and you can have different pressures on them and things like that too. There's so many different really cool ways of doing things now that you can kind of go about it anyway. But Josh Collier says might add that to my list. You'll have to tell me what that is again, Josh. I didn't catch your comment in time. I'm sorry. Bud Denning Power Hobby has a cheaper version of the J Concepts tire arbor. It's nice. Yep. And then I know the Quasi Speed one's really nice too. And I'm not promoting the Quasi Speed one. I have it, and Dustin makes nice stuff. So, Rob says, deem that tire mounting. Deem that tire mounting how? 2 tips and tricks is necessary. Yeah. So what we can do. Maybe next week I'll get a couple new sets of tires and we'll do a mounting video. I think that'd be great. The tape trick is something new to me. Yep. So it was something new to me, as of a couple years, or maybe early this year, whatever. Because I watched a bunch of guys do it after they prep tire, and it really, it takes all of the crap off and makes a really nice, clean, good surface to work with. So super cool. The tire foam setup that Howard did. Oh yeah. It's what he did was really good, and when we will cover that next week on the live as well. I think that'd be a good thing. So, do you cut holes in your tires, Kevin? Kevin Kisney, yes, I do, and we kind of covered that a little bit earlier. So what I do, I've found that 2 holes work the best for me. So I have a hole there, and then what I do is I put my holes on the tire, on the tire. I put the holes where the tire is going to face the inside of the racetrack. So these holes are on the outside. So this is my left rear, as you can see by the L right there. And then when I grab this other tire, you can see no holes on the outside, holes on the inside. There and there, and then those are facing the inside of the racetrack as well. So then it is helps me have my right rear. So let's see. Schroeder says Motive has a great tire bit too. Yep, and then the Gravity also sells. At least I know they used to. Gravity also sells a stick as well that is already pre-done with tire, or with sandpaper and everything as well. So I know those Gravity used to have those sticks as well. I don't know if they still do or not. But all right, guys. Any other questions? Anything that we want to go over? Do you smoke them when the compound is still wet? Kevin Pitta. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Kevin. But so what I do, send the camera back over. So what I do is I will. We do all of the sanding like I just talked about, tape them, tape to get all the fluff off. And then I will saturate the whole tire, soak it, and then I let it soak completely in to dry. To dry. And then once it's dry, I will go back and I will saturate one more time on the tire. And when it is still wet, but it's not wet enough to where it would wick off. Like I would put it on the drill and fire the drill up, it wouldn't be so wet that it would wick off. So I let it get to that point of dry, and then I smoke the tire in. So hopefully that helps, Kevin. And then Kevin Schroeder, don't buy the Gravity stick, it gets too hot. So fair enough. It must have probably, too aggressive of a paper on there, Andrew, I would assume. would be my assumption. And then I don't know if I have a set that I want to talk about for the fronts, because there's a little trick to the fronts too that you guys can do. A lot of new sets that I need to break in. Huh?
That's up to you.
Yeah. Okay, so here, guys. Man, these still have freaking sand in them. That is insane. This is a used set that I'm keeping kind of for a rainy day at this point. But so to talk about another scenario here, so is what I do for my. So if I don't write on here on the inside of the wheel, I actually grab my label maker, and really haven't had any issue with them lasting. I say that, and I believe. No, but I will actually. So I actually have a document on my phone that I keep track of all my tires. I even take pictures with them and everything. I don't. Can I still have my Trello board? That might be something cool to show. One second here, guys. Let's see. Yeah. So, like for example, I'm still working on this. This is an app called Trello. I actually use this for work as well. But so, for example, I can go in and I actually keep track of everything that I did on the tire, how I did everything. I do use 80 grit sandpaper, just so everybody knows. But I have what prep I use, what wheel I'm using. If I open up the holes or anything on the wheels to try that out, what I do on the foams, the tire, and then I can actually go in and I actually take pictures of the way that they started as well, which is pretty sweet. For some reason, this is fighting me here, but there you go. So then actually I can even keep track of my tires this way as well, which is a pretty cool way. And then that way I can see exactly what I started with. And that way I know what I'm trying to kind of replicate previous. And you can do this with, paper or whatever. You don't have to have this app. I have this fancy app for the simple fact that I use this app all the time for work. But I just decided to use kind of some of the stuff I had at my disposal. But yeah, something like that is super useful. But where I was going with that is on these fronts, there's a lot of guys that will, let me grab one of these that aren't done. So as you can see, you have these like dust rings is what they call them. So dust rings on both sides of the tire. And what a lot of guys are doing now that I see is they actually remove that dust ring. So same thing, chuck this thing up, have your sandpaper disc or have your sandpaper paddle, and you can actually sit there and focus on one area, and then it will take it down super duper fast. There's some guys that will only do the outside. I've seen some guys only do the so it would be, I think it's the outside on the left front, the inside on the right front I think the idea behind that is to let the contact patch of the tire get to the racetrack sooner, not on top of that dust ring. But and then some guys like myself, obviously, I just did both sides. But something else to think about to get that dust ring, and then you're getting more center contact patch of the tire onto the ground. I have found that by doing this, I do feel like I get a little bit more steering out of the car. But that is more than likely just a personal preference at that point. But so something to think about, but something to consider when you can take off those dust rings. And I do feel like it improves the steering a little bit. Do you use a tire softener to soften the foams for lower bite? I don't, Kevin. The only thing that I really use that this guy for is like truing up, centering up the wheel or centering up the tire on the wheel. Admittedly, I don't use it very much because I haven't really tried much yet with it. I need to do some more research on it, but yeah, that's the best answer I can give you. I haven't messed with it too much to give a bunch of really good answers on it yet. But then here is the getting those dust rings ground off. And I'm sure there's some guys that'll argue the other way that you got to have the dust rings on there to be able to get steering and this, that, and the other. So we're all wrong and we're all not right at the same time. So, why 4 holes in the front? I only have 2. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking 4 here. So this Tony I was just trying. This was trying to get testing, and I actually went to a track that had a ton of sand in it, and because I actually I took my reamer and increased the hole size on the wheel as well. And what I ended up doing, I don't run these anymore, but ended up it allowed a bunch of the sand and bad stuff to get into the tire. So it didn't work out at all. But the reason that there's 4 in here is nothing more than it was a test to try, because I'm sure on my rears even. Yep. And obviously I've since ran this and ghosted the right rear, but I tried 4 here as well. Tried 4 on this one. Just purely an experiment. I do feel like 4 probably evacuates the air buildup a little bit more to keep the tire from growing a little bit. That's kind of the mindset behind it. But again, I don't know. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong there for sure. Just all speculative at that point. So, or personal preference. The 4 versus the 2. I can't tell you that that's, if you have 4 holes in your tire, you're gonna win a race, and two holes in your tire, you're gonna lose, or vice versa. It's nothing like that. But I've always put vents in the center of the racing surface. So I've seen guys that do that too. Gas Boater 4318 on YouTube, but I think I've seen that before, and I think guys have gotten away from it now. I think what you're seeing now is these tires are so gripped up, and this is my opinion from what I'm seeing, but I think tires are now so gripped up, and these cars are so gripped up, that if you put a hole in the center of the tire now, you're going to try to rip the tire open. You're not going to literally rip the tire open, but that's what it's trying to do. And I think you're going to have a more inconsistent tire. And I think that's why we're on the sidewalls now, because it won't pull that as much. So Jamie says he softens a phone on J Concepts on a foam buster. Yep. So that is very true, Jamie. And to Jamie's point, I do agree with him. I think that the J Concepts foams are significantly stiffer than like a quasi-speed tire. And so if you break in a J Concepts foam and you want it to feel like a quasi foam, putting it on there for 30, 45 seconds, I think is a great tip. So yeah, great tip by Jamie there. I think I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I do agree wholeheartedly that a J-Con foam is significantly stiffer than what comes in the quasi-speed stuff. So absolutely. But, well, guys, I seen at one point we had over 100 people in here, which I don't know if that's ever happened before, so that's super rad. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for dealing with kind of last week. Again, totally out of my control. Mother Nature has a mind of her own sometimes, and I just didn't want to put you guys through log in, log out, log in, log out, log in, log out, or refine the stream and not, because what would have happened is guys would have got sick of that really quick, and we would have had 4 people in there, and it would have been for nothing. We're here, at least we got to help quite a few people, I think. So maybe not even help, just get some ideas and try some things on your own. So. There's some things I think we talked about tonight that I've tried on my own stupidity that guys won't have to deal with anymore as well. So you don't have to do, which is good. I can kind of be the guinea pig. I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah. What do we get out of tonight, everybody? Don't share your tire washer because you're mixing everybody's preps, I think is what the best thing that we came up with tonight. Schroeder says sauce eats the foam quicker. With a hole in the middle of the tire, since it makes it easier for the sauce to, yes. And then back to the tire washer too, to Andrew's point, you're also waterlogging up your foams a lot easier as well when you wash your tires, when you put a hole in the center of the foam as well. So you're making your tires very much more inconsistent. Where if they're on the sidewall and you're not submerging your tire when you're cleaning it, you're keeping more water out of the tire. Justin Napier, do you have a video on how to glue quasis, and do you cut foams for them? So what we'll do, Justin, next week is we will. I don't have a video, number one, but number two, there is a good video from PT's Garage. I know that PT's posted. And then secondly, next week, next Wednesday, we will do a tire mounting video. Even if I just get one set of tires or whatever, we will glue up a set of tires next week. So we can go through all that and go through that whole process with doing with the hole puncher and everything. So I think that'll be a really good video. I think a lot of people want to see that, it seems like. So Casey says, thanks for the content you bring. There's not enough good information like this that's regularly available. I appreciate that, Casey. Thank you. Yep. And if you, just so you guys know, I know a lot of you are on Facebook right now, but these are also on YouTube, and they live on YouTube and they stay on YouTube forever. So if you ever want to go back and watch one of these, they're on YouTube anytime you want them, and you can go through and see their archive there. But with that being said, guys, be on the lookout tomorrow morning, or tomorrow. I don't want to say morning because sometimes our podcast software can bite us in the butt. But tomorrow, Ross May from McAllister Racing, his podcast drops. Really, really cool episode. Really insightful. Ross is a really cool dude, and we get to go through that. Producer Kaylee edited that one, so if anybody doesn't like it, blame her. She flipped me off. No, but Kaylee's been immensely helpful here for all this stuff. So Kaylee helps make all this go around too. So thank you to her. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that Ross May episode. We got a couple more comments in here. Rob says thank you, sir. Let's see, gas motor center holes make it dissipate water and dirt easier. Just a carryover from my off-road racing. Because I will try sidewall. Yeah, definitely try the sidewalls, because I don't think that's maybe working like you're thinking it might be. But yeah, give it a try. Give it a try, and then maybe I can give it a try too, and we can see what we come up with. But I think sidewalls are definitely the way to go. But anyway, guys, yeah. Let's see. No more jump cuts to someone's boogers. Do we have jump cuts to boogers? Says Schroeder. Schroeder, I think you're messing with me. No jump cuts to boogers. I've only picked my nose a couple times on the stream, I think. Anyway, Schroeder's giving me crap. Anyway, guys, getting off here. Thank you guys so much. Be on the lookout for episode, I believe it's episode 10 as well. So we made it to triple digits. I think, or what did I say, triple? Yeah, sorry, double digits. We're going to triple digits. But also, hot information. Well, some people are still in here. I'm not going to say exact names, but we have a NASCAR driver on the docket to interview here soon. We have California track owner, Pennsylvania track owner, former car designer and engineer. We have a lot of really, really, really special people that either have already been interviewed, and I'm several weeks ahead on my interviews, so which has been very, very nice to be able to keep track of. But we also have some interviews coming up that, like I said, we got a NASCAR driver, a NASCAR Cup driver, and I'm working on a couple NASCAR crew chiefs. I'm working on a few other things too. So, but yeah. Thank you guys. It's gonna be really, really awesome. So stay tuned to the podcast. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming up, and we've talked to a lot of really, really great men already, and really, really great people. So couldn't ask for more. We're so close to 5,000 as well. Or I shouldn't say so close. We just rolled over 4,000. So we're trying to get to 5,000 likes as well. So if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, commenting, liking, leave reviews on all of the podcasts or whatever podcast platform you like as well. And the last thing that I had is our sponsor, TP3D. Tyler reached out and asked if I would plug. Tyler is doing some one-off type machining on his router. So if you guys have any projects, or you want to come up with your own car or your own shock tower or anything like that, reach out to TP3D, and Tyler Price can take care of you there. Reach out to him and see what he can do to help you, because he's really trying to push his prototyping and kind of rapid development machining as well. So, but yeah, so thank you guys. Appreciate you all so much. check out the podcast, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.